Hi folks, I'm Andy Flannagan. I'm Director of the Christian Socialist Movement, and we're standing in the long now at Greenbelt, but just now we've been standing in the freezing cold now with the Right Honourable David Lammy MP. David's just been interacting with a whole crowd of Greenbelt visitors. How did you experience it, David?
Well, it's great. It was cold, but the questions were challenging. People were listening. It's great. The atmosphere is very good, very positive.
Excellent. Did you think people engaged with what you were saying?
Did they? I mean, we were talking about participation and being active and understanding that faith is about fellowship, it can be about stewardship, but that mission, that sense can go beyond just your Christian community. And I think that particularly with the challenges that we're facing today in society, challenges in relation to our environment, in relation to consumption, our economy, the sorts of concerns that I have in a constituency like mine, particularly with young people, that does require people of faith and no faith to be engaged and participating in politics. And I know, sort of really listening to people, that many people of faith are actively engaged in their communities, but it's how we can go beyond that.
Absolutely. How do you think, what are the tools that people, watching this at home can really use to enable other folks in their churches to see politics as mission, not just something that the other people do, but something that actually they can be involved in, that feels like they can actually, get so close as they can touch, as opposed to it being far away in Westminster?
Well, it's not, I hope that events like this and speaking like this start, the difficulty with politics is that it comes down to a soundbite. It comes down to a very narrow understanding of what politicians are, but we are people engaged in our own communities, and that's the very strength of the constituency model. So, I think it is about knowing your MP, lobbying your MP, but thinking also about the broader basis of politics. Who is the councillor? Can you be a councillor? Who is on that school board? Can you be on that school board, that health board, the magistrate, all of those things. But then also the non-traditional things. For a younger generation particularly, the potential is huge, because the potential that the internet provides, the social networking, the coming together, hugely important. And I believe in an encounter culture. So I want communities as diverse as the one I represent in North London, speaking and being in communication with people here in Gloucestershire or in the northeast of the country. And it's finding the means to get that interaction and to be engaged in that interaction that are hugely important. I accept also that time is a real issue, but then I say, look, let's get into the position of lobbying politicians to give us our time back. Be actively engaged in the things that need to happen to change the context that surrounds you, and your ability to actually volunteer and give up time to participate.
What would you say to some of the folks that we've bumped into today that say, well, I gave them a card about the Christian Socialist Movement, and they said, Christian Socialist? Is that not an oxymoron? How would you reply to somebody like that?
Well, look, I don't want to be too partisan, except to say I think that there is a lot that socialism in its broadest sense, socialism is in the end a concern with the collective. It's, at its heart, is a notion of solidarity, one to each other, by our common endeavours, is on the back of the Labour Party. I happen to believe that is deeply Christian.
Absolutely.
We as Christians aren't just concerned with ourselves. We aren't just concerned with our own family. We are concerned with the community of families, what we mean as a society, one to each other. And so I think there's a lot that Christian socialism can have in common, but it is important to understand that politics can't be just about a group of people believing what you believe. And let me say this, as a government minister, I don't agree with everything the government does. I make my case in the government, sometimes I lose those arguments. It's understanding that you have to speak up and participate and be active in that process.
That's good. David, thanks so much. It's obvious that you speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, and as we all continue to do that, it's great to be journeying with you in doing that. Thanks for being at Greenbelt.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.